Live music is so tangible. It's almost sort of magical the way it happens.
You know, sometimes we're playing music that's written 6 months ago, and sometimes we're playing music that's written, 300 years ago. You come to a concert and there's all kinds of things that can happen.
It's not the stuffy thing that people tend to associate. They have stereotypes of what going to a symphony concert is.
One thing about symphonic music, especially a symphony, you could listen to it many, many times and still hear something else that you didn't hear before.
Saint John Symphony was the first formally established orchestra in the Maritime region. And then the New Brunswick Symphony Orchestra from '62 to '68. Those two orchestras really started orchestral music in Saint John and in New Brunswick in general.
Mostly it was Mrs. Collins was one of the headers, and Mr. Oland, Philip Oland, and they came to my father and said, we want to get a symphony orchestra. And Dad contacted the musicians. That's basically how it started.
The first concert of the orchestra occurred in 1950. There's a famous photograph of the lineup outside Saint John High School where the concert occurred.
It drew so many people they had to close the doors. They couldn't let any more people in.
I think if you go back to the older orchestras, the works that they premiered by some of the people that were involved in the orchestra at that time, they did original compositions by Kelsey Jones, the most famous of which is the Miramichi Ballad, which is still a trademark piece that Symphony New Brunswick performs periodically.
A lot of people did a lot of work with that symphony. All of them added something to it.
Janis Kalnins, he was an internationally rated conductor and composer whose music is still extensively performed in his native country, Latvia. Now, that's pretty exciting stuff.
It's very important to have something like Symphony New Brunswick, not even just composers, just to continue to have that experience for people to hear an orchestra and hear that type of music, which, in my opinion, is timeless.
In an orchestra, you're hearing stuff that's produced by all these pieces of wood and reeds and pieces of metal, and if there's singers involved, you're not hearing a sound that is fed through a microphone. So it's much more kind of organic, let's just say.
There's nothing like a live performance, and no matter how good the digital technology gets these days, you cannot substitute that for a live performance.
Unexpected instruments, unexpected sounds. Variety is the spice of life,
It's one of the ways that we can experience magic. The same way you experience magic when you're walking along the shoreline and watching the waves come up, or it's just one of the great experiences in the human condition.